All right. Happy Independence, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my life. Happy Independence. It feels great to be back. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be back. Thank you everybody that called me, that reached out to me. I know it was a long recess. I am very sorry. I'm very sorry. My brief recess, it was supposed to be about a week, but suddenly it took a month. I want to apologize to all of you, my viewers. It was for many reasons, which most of it is a bit personal. I mean, September was a tough, but it was a tough month for me personally. I'm going through quite a lot, trying to find my way back, and I just needed that time to go reflect on many things. But I'm back. I'm strong. I'm better. Everything is fine by God's grace. I'm happy to see all of you and happy to be back on the show to move the conversations to a whole new different level. I mean, what other time to be back than now? Um, During our independence, when there's a lot to talk about, and when Nigeria is just recently going through um, a new phase. I like to call it a new phase. I mean, 60 years is no beans. So yeah, how is everybody doing? Please drop your comments. I would like to know how everybody is doing. I mean, it's been a while. It's been 1 month, but 1 month feels like forever. But I'm happy to be with everybody. So today we'll be diving into um, some serious conversations. So sorry, 1 minute. I'm just trying to pull everybody in to the conversation. So if you can also help me share this video, that would be great, so that we can be able to get more people and friends to join the conversation. Today is going to be explosive. I've been promising that for a while. So let's get down to the conversation. Okay. So today is Nigeria's independence, and we are 60 years old. And I thought, okay, why not? Isn't it a good time to have a conversation around what the youths are doing and what the youth can do to trigger national growth and development. So the reason why we're having this conversation. But I have a very important guest who is going to help drive this. Um, uh, Gift Hart is a former BYF leader in Bonny. He's a community leader. He's a businessman. Gift is someone I hold in the highest esteem. So he is the one to join me in this conversation. Nigeria is 60 years old today. What have we been doing over the years? How have we been faring over the years? What is new? What do we look out for? What do we plan for ourselves? So reason why I'm having this conversation, and it feels great to be back on the show at a time like this, and we're having this kind of conversation. If you're watching me from anywhere you are, from whatever platform you're watching me, because we are live on Facebook and on YouTube, I would like you to please share this video to your timeline, tag your friends, share this video across the various platforms, so that we can bring more people into the conversation and make it more holistic, and more inclusive. I want to get everybody's views today for this discussion. All right. Without much ado, I'm going to bring in my guest. My guest is Gift Alex Hart. He is a former Bonny Youth Federation leader, and he is a community leader. He's a politician, and he's a businessman. Today, he'll be helping us make sense out of what should the youths be doing to trigger or to contribute to our national development as Nigeria celebrates 60 years of independence. So let me not waste too much time. Let me bring up my guest so that we can get on the conversation without much ado. Honorable, welcome to the show. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Chapp-Jumbo, I can hear you.
All right. I feel comfortable to call you honorable. So honorable feels better for me.
I think I little disagree with you.
Okay,
I
okay,
I I rather I rather wish to just be addressed as Mr. Gift Hart.
okay. Mr.
I am
Gift,
fine.
Mr. Gift.
Yes, I am fine with that.
Okay, welcome to the show. So this is the Hangout series, and I know you've been following our conversations on this show for a long time, and I'm very very happy to have you as a guest today. And I know many of our Bonny young people they are very eager to hear from you today and to see you. I mean, you've been off the scene for a long time. You've just been on the background. I want to ask why is that so?
Yeah, I've been off the scene. It depends on what you're talking about when you're describing a scene, but naturally, having served my community for a long time, I think I deserved some rest. So I needed to pull back and put myself together and have some rest. But when you talk
Okay.
about the scene, I don't know, are you talking about the federation scene? If you're talking about Bonnie Federation scene, yes, I have served at the peak of it, and of course, I should give space. I should give a huge space for younger ones to come and participate and give their own quota to youth development and community development.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So just for the case of people who are watching, we all know you as a former Bonny Youth Federation leader. But
Yeah.
I know you are many other things. So I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you have been up to, and who is Gift Hart, Alex Hart.
Gift Hart is a regular young Bonny man, regular young Bonny citizen. Um, I'm in my 40s right now. I had the little privilege to have schooled a little University of Port Harcourt, and was privileged to do a little schooling too at UST. And I was also privileged to be the deputy youth leader in Greenhouse Youth before opportunity provided itself, and now moved to the General Congress of Bonny, where I was also privileged to serve as the youth leader. Right now, I would rather refer to myself as an entrepreneur, a businessman. That's
Okay.
basically who I am. Just a regular Bonny man that has a great interest in the development of our youth and our Bonny community in general. It's a huge passion for me to find a space, a means of helping to continue to develop Bonny because our community needs a lot.
Hmm. All right. So from what year to what year were you the youth leader? So I we just try to remember from what year to what year.
Um, just before Simeon, I handed over to last leader. I think between somewhere around 2000 and uh, 2012, 2010, 2010 to I think 2014, 2010,
Okay.
2014.
Okay. Okay. All right. So viewers, if you're watching again, please help us share this video from whichever platform you're watching. Share this video across to the various groups. Tag your friends and colleagues so that we can get more contributions and more comments because I know there are a lot of questions you would like my guests to answer. Please help us share. Click the share button. You will see the share button just below your screen. Click the share button and you can share to any of the groups. On the comment section, you can tag your friends to come over and watch. Okay. Um. So I want to ask you, Mr. Gift, tell me what are some of the major highlights from your time as BYF leader? I mean, I've spoken to the current caretaker leader, and I've spoken to just the immediate past leader. And in my interaction with them, they never really mentioned something or they never mentioned anything from your administration. So, but I want to ask you, what are some of the major highlights you can remember from your time as BYF leader?
There were lots of major highlights. There were lots of major highlights. But before I say much, I would like to remind us that the youth body is more like a pressure group.
Okay.
Our basic or primary responsibility is to mount pressure, is to engage partners, corporate communities, individuals, to see how we can drive development of the youth, and of course, the development of Bonny community in general. So, but sometimes we come to a situation where, because of the love of the Bonny youth, because of the love of the community or Bonny Federation, they tend to focus more on the youth, on the Bonny Federation. You know, a lot of things are, in one way or the other, in Bonny, not at the point where the people think it should be. So when the people have this, opinion to sometimes turn their anger, their worry to the federation, not because they hate Bonny Federation, but because they love Bonny Federation, because they expect Bonny Federation to be doing a lot. So sometimes they forget that the Bonny Federation is just a pressure group, that the Federation does not have a financial allocation or any form of money to build infrastructure. But most times, see people clamoring for infrastructure development through the Bonny Federation and all that. Bonny Federation, by its constitution and manner of operation, is basically a pressure group. But that notwithstanding, every youth executive will always have some level of ideas and what to do to contribute this quarter to community development and youth development. I think one of the very clear hallmark of our administration was our ability to move the youth secretariat from where it used to be at Hospital Road to the now present famous structure. We decided that it was time to move the secretariat of the youth body from that Hospital Road area, because there were other pressures coming there. We needed to give up that structure, that temporary place, to a more permanent site, which we succeeded in doing. Now, how did we get it? How did we get it done? Like I said earlier, the youth body does not have any form of allocation from government or any other participant to do, to build huge infrastructure. Even though at that point in time, there were periods we received some level of financial support from companies in the name of youth development levy, of which at a point the Rivers State government also made a law banning the collection of such levies. So, but we sat down as executive and thought how to get this job done. And so we approached then the local government council, and we also approached Honorable Aye Atamapepo then, and even I think we also approached Minister of Works, then Honorable Dakubu Pidasai. But in all this, we got good signals from all of them. But the one that was faster was the one with discussion we had with Honorable Aye Atamapepo, who actually told us that because we requested that he built a youth center, the youth secretariat, as one of his constituency projects. But at the time we met with him, he said the constituency project for that year has already been marked to be used, the mark to be used to build a road somewhere. So we pleaded with him, and he agreed, after much engagement and discussion, he agreed that he was going to go to Minister of Works to meet with Akuku so that the constituency project, the road will not be changed to be used to build what we now have as youth secretariat. But he told us clearly that the issue of land, that we will have to go and get a land. And we said we will do that. We now we approached the chief council then, and by privilege, the honorable gave us that plot of land where that structure is standing now. And we handed over to IE to build the present youth secretariat that we have. So besides that one, We also had there were other hallmark of our administration. There was a period we also engaged NLNG for employment, which we succeeded in getting some bonies employed, not on contract basis, as permanent staff of NLNG. You understand? That was
Wow.
one of, uh, to me, I think that was one of our biggest achievements. We're
Mm,
also able to get some Bonny youth gainfully employed outside the shores of Bonny, because sometimes we tend to concentrate more on Bonny, but from our little investigation then, we discovered that Bonny as a cluster community also, because we're not just a host community to NLNG, we're also cluster communities to other companies, including Total, and most of the companies at ONE. You understand? We also have
mm,
little rights and privileges there. So we decided that it's high time we don't concentrate on trying to get only those jobs that are available in Bonny. So we went outside Bonny. I also got some employment opportunities for Bonny youth, which most of them are still working to
mm.
today. Most of them have been able to
Wow.
marry and move forward. Those jobs, those employments have made them men today.
Mm,
There are lots of them,
mm,
but unfortunately, I think I owe them that honor not to call their names here. Uh-huh. So, but
okay.
there are lots of them. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. So I think for
Mm,
me as an individual, or for us as an executive, there, I think our biggest achievement to me was getting lots of our youth, gainfully employed, and the moving of the secretariat to the permanent site where it is today.
permanent site. Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Those were some really good highlights. You talked about jobs.
And
Okay, go on, go on. Let me
not,
not
not,
hold you. Go on.
not to forget that even the present Federal Polytechnic, at the
Yeah.
point, that there are a lot, it's been a couple of years now. I wouldn't remember a lot of things. Even the Federal Polytechnic that is
Okay.
as an operation in Bonita, there was a point, it was stalled. Nothing was happening there. Several times, I and a couple of other members of the federation had to fly to Abuja to engage the executive secretary on executive of Petroleum Development Trust Fund. We had to engage them several times in Abuja. We flew down there. The public might not be aware of this. We flew down there several times to engage them to restart the project. Even some of our Bonny people that were systematically, removed from the project, we were responsible for bringing them back to participate in the construction of that project. So, in ensuring that that project was not abandoned, that school was not neglected, we also did a lot to have that school uh, function, go back for the school, construction of the school to recommence when it was abandoned. Forgive
Mm,
me, it's been a while we left the foundation, so a lot we have really forgotten a lot. Even the what we call is it Bonny Youth Conference or whatever that we initiated it. Though then it was called I think Bonny Youth Extraordinary Conference. Then it was referred to as Bonny Youth Extraordinary Conference. It was also held that the venue was also in Manisi Hall. So there were a lot of things. In fact, even the company that was responsible for that is responsible for transporting that shuttles NLNG that carries LNG staff to Port Harcourt. There was a period they were not even employing Bonny people. In fact, there was a period they didn't even pay homage to Bonny Kingdom. We
wow.
we, we had to ensure they comply. We engaged them several times, and
Mm,
they did not give us a green light. At the point we had to even write petition to National Security Advisor, then Guzo, under Goodluck Jonathan. We had to write series of petitions to National Security Advisor and Secretary to Federal Government, which I think after about 3 weeks after we sent out those letters, they now called us. Initially, we were going to them to talk with them, to plead with them, to do
okay.
something. But after
Mm,
after those letters to then National Security Advisor Guso, they called us and of course and did what they were supposed to do in the community. There are a lot of things we did, lots of things.
Interesting to know that at that time the BYF could write a petition straight to the National Security Advisor. I'm impressed to hear that.
Yes,
I'm impressed.
yes,
So, but you said something on jobs and
yes,
employment. So
yes.
I want to ask you, aside some of those opportunities you mentioned that the BYF could do for Bonny youths, I want you to specifically how did you handle jobs and opportunities for women, women and girls as at that time? Because it seems like only the men get jobs, and some of these women we don't see them getting into some of these jobs. How did you handle employment for women specifically? Any statistics or any highlight you can share for us?
I must tell you that if you're outside the federation, you will not understand how sometimes Bonny kingdom is fashioned. The most of the employment that comes to Bonny, of course, we all know that it comes through Bonny Employment Bureau, which of
Okay.
course people will say that the director of manpower is the representative of the youth in Bonny Employment Bureau. But a lot of times, the whoever that is the chairman of Employment Bureau decides what happens. If you go there and you try to mount excessive pressure, they close down on you. And there are a lot of things that you can't talk about. But basically, concerning women employment, the Bonny Youth Federation it's not just about the men. It's about both men and women. So when we talk about
Exactly.
employment for the youth, I'm actually referring to both employment for men and women. But basically most times it has to do with qualification. It has to do with qualification. If at any point in time there are available space in any organization, all we do, we send out these information to Congress members and people that are close to us, and and sometimes we post it at the secretaries. So where the women are also qualified, they are employed. The federation is about all Bonny youth. It has nothing to do with either the male gender or the female gender. It is all for the entire youth of Bonny.
All right. I asked that question specifically because recently it is even tougher for women to get jobs, and that's because there have been comments of a lot of women getting advances at them before jobs are given to them. Advances like sexual advances, I mean, uh, demanding for sex for jobs and everything, and it's quite worrisome. So I thought I should just know what the history has been from your time and how there has been focus on women to ensure that there's free and fair jobs allocated to them also, and equal opportunity to them. So that question is very important for me personally because it's something I advocate for, and it beats my heart to
Yeah.
hear that women struggle these days to get jobs, even the smallest of jobs in the site, and they will always get sexual advances at them for jobs. So I don't know if you have a final comment on that before we move on.
Yeah, I think the issue of sexual advances goes beyond Bonny. It is an international issue.
Mm,
But as Bonny people, we should also be able to handle it. As an individual, as a person, as a human being, I totally condemn any form of sexual advances, any demand for sex before giving a woman a job or whatever that is due her. Because even your wife that you have at home and you try to go close to her and she says she's probably not in good condition, she's not healthy, you are not to force her by any level to get sex from her. So, but when these issues start ringing around in Bonny, I also used to sometimes call on the women because sometimes if you go on social media, the ladies
mm,
are saying that this is happening. But I think they should develop some little energy to be able to call names of these individuals that are committing this, it is a crime, that are committing this crime. The ladies
mm.
should go a step further, not just making allegations. They should be able to call names. They should be able to tag individuals that are responsible for this heinous act. It is very sad, very disheartening that in our very small Bonny, where we almost know ourselves, that you now have to demand for such before you now give our ladies, our girls, our mothers job. It is really sad, really sad, and disheartening. I condemn it. I also think that sometimes the authorities should not be quiet, because the ladies, for fear of being victimized, might not also want to go ahead to call names. It takes more than sheer voice to be able to say. Sometimes women need services. When they hear these things, they should find a way to investigate, even if not openly. They should find a way to investigate this matter, or call those those that are responsible for such agencies or committees that this allegation are waving around them, to call them and ask some questions. They should not be quiet. It's very sad, very, very sad.
All right, Mr. Gift, I really appreciate your comment on that. I mean, you are a very influential voice, and I mean, maybe this will go a long way to say a lot on the current BYF leadership that is coming, and entirely the community at large in Bonny. Thank you for lending your voice to that. I'm really impressed. So,
thank you very much.
Let's move on to the conversation of the day, and that's talking about the national issues and Nigeria 60 years later. How would you score Nigeria 60 years later now? I'm looking from when we got independence to what it is, where we are now. If you were given a script of Nigeria to mark, after marking that script, how would you score Nigeria now?
You know, I am a man that I like to base my discussion on statistics and data. Okay. Statistics and data. If I'm to score Nigeria, basically, someone once said that the most populated class of individuals in Bonny are the youth. Class of people, most populated class of people in Nigeria are the youth. And the youth has the highest number of population in Nigeria. Now, if you look at employment rate, recently employment rate in Nigeria has just jumped to 27%. So if majority of the youths that should be gainfully employed are not gainfully employed, and employment rate has risen so much to 27%, it is huge. If you look at the inflation rate is almost 13.3%. I think that if I'm to score Nigeria right now, also considering where I'm coming from as a man from Niger Delta, and of course from Bonny, if I'm scoring Nigeria between 1 and 10, I'll be scoring Nigeria 3. Forgive me, I'll be scoring Nigeria 3. Between 1 and 10, I'll score Nigeria 3.
Okay.
Now, why is that? It's simple. Recently, the rate of insecurity, the rate of killings, and the death of Nigerians around Nigeria from state to state is overwhelming. It's terrible. We cannot say we are a country that is doing well, and almost every day people are being killed here and there. People don't feel safe, and this is the primary responsibility of government at any level. So if the people are not feeling safe, people don't feel safe at the point even where traveling from a state to state, a lot of people are killed even by sheer traveling from a state to state for either business or one thing or the other, and people get killed. I think that the country has not moved forward. I believe that the expectations of our founding fathers, those that were at the beginning of Nigeria in the 60s and the 70s, I believe that even in their own mistake, I believe that where we are today is not where they wish that we are. The rate of inflation, unemployment, basically the discussion around Nigeria, you hardly find a discussion of something positive. State to state, local government to local government, what people are talking about is wrong things that are happening. People are talking about the depreciation in economy, the depreciation in security, the depreciation in social life. The social capital is depreciating every day. So Nigeria as a country, as an individual, in my personal opinion, Nigeria has not moved forward. Nigeria has not moved forward. We even in infrastructure, we are suffering huge deficit in infrastructural development. So for me, I think that we are not moving forward. Even if you look at even recently, even the electoral reforms that even the federal administration promised around the last election, that immediately after the election they were going to sign into law. Till date, it has not been signed into law. It's recently that we're even hearing that the PID bill has been sent to National Assembly for consideration. So, in overall, if you look around, things that should gradually move this country forward, it's not happening. As a Niger Delta, if you look around us, our seaports are not really functioning. Nothing is clearly happening. A young man that is growing up in Port Harcourt, for you to get to protect yourself with a car, you have to travel far to another state to buy. There are certain things that should happen so that every Nigerian should feel like a great citizen of Nigeria. But right now, there are lots of people, even the younger ones that are growing up, people that are much younger, are aware of these inequalities. These are horrible. Okay, let me give for instance.
Go on. Let me allow you land with your point. Just that last point, yeah.
So basically, as a Nigerian, I don't think we are happy. Even as Nigerians, I don't think Nigerians are happy with what's happening in the country. You cannot wake up and pick up any of the tabloids. This is why I say, okay, today there's a good thing that is happening that overwhelms the stories of bad things. There's always something wrong. If it's not an increment in one tariff, is one killing somewhere, or is one other something wrong somewhere. So there is a lot that is going bad in the country.
So what has happened since 1960 till now is that Nigeria has grown incrementally in population. We were about 50 million in 1960, and we are currently more than 200 million in 2020. But one significant thing has happened within this period: the fact that we have grown in youth population. We have about 60% of our population as young people. But what I want to ask you is, do you think we are making good use of this population of young people? Yeah, do you think we are making good use of it?
I think we are not doing enough. We are not doing enough. Because the young people you talked about, the greater percent of those young people make up the labor force, make up the strength of the nation. And if this strength of the nation is not judicially used, you see there will be a surge, an increment in vices. You understand? When we go about talking about Boko Haram killings and a lot of other activities, a lot of other crimes that are going on, I think that it's because of the young people, which make up the greater percent of the labor force, are not properly being put into good use. They are not even properly well educated. Because if you look at, for instance, the educational institutions where these young people should be well groomed, well trained, well educated to come out and participate in the economy and the social life of the nation. The universities and the educational system, the quality of it, year in, year out, is depreciating. You can hardly find somebody that graduated some years ago, return to any institution, and will be excited that something good has happened. You hardly look at the educational system anytime. See, Nigerians, there's one about Nigerians. Nigerians don't hide their feelings. Human beings don't hide their feelings. If Nigeria goes to play, for instance, the football today, or go for the Olympics, I will do very well. You see that the people will be happy. It will be the talk all over the street. the same way that the inability of government to utilize the youth, it is not properly done, and as such, you see that things are going wrong. The education is not done properly. Youth empowerment is poor. Unemployment rate is high, is huge. So, my brother, I'm actually short of words. There are, at this point, you basically you find it difficult to find one good thing, one clearly good thing to say, because sometimes government tells you they are building this, they are building that. If the people are not well taken care of, if the people are not well secured, who is going to use all these things? So I
Okay, so
think that
I want to pick from what you have been saying now, and looking the fact that you have once led a body of young people, a body of youth. But I want to ask, my question first is, where were you in 1999 when Nigeria got democracy? Where were you? What were you doing that time? 1999.
I was still a student.
Okay, okay. Me, I was really young, so I'm just curious to
I was
ask.
still a student.
So,
I was still a
so
student.
but where looking at you have led a body of youth, and looking at where we are now, what did you think you did differently during your time, to make sure that there was a difference in how young people participated in national issues?
Yeah, we give a lot of attention to youth. We tried as much as possible to have seminars, conferences, workshops to let youth understand that participating in politics in one way or the other is a right.
Hmm.
We focus on driving policies that we build the interest of youth in national integration. We, like I said, we don't have any allocation. We ensured we try to change the awareness, to build awareness of youth, to give them a new orientation, a new direction. And this we're able to do by different by providing platforms. These platforms were in way of seminars, conferences, and sometimes leaving Bonnie to participate in other youth engagement and interaction. You understand? And also, even in times of election and politics, we mobilize youth. When we say we mobilize youth, not mobilizing youth for any political party, but we mobilize the conscience of youth to ensure that youth vote right, that youth vote their conscience, that youth vote the right candidate, that they are not by any way influenced by any illegal means to vote wrongly. We try to hold the gap between youth and the politicians to ensure that the youth, rather than following headlong to the wrong direction, they are able to separate the sand from the food. So we tried a lot. We did a lot in that direction.
All right, viewers, if you're watching, please, you can contribute. You can drop your comments. I'll be reading your comments, your questions to my guests. Feel free to make use of the comment section. Every comment that drops pops up on my screen, and I can read every bit of it to my guests. And any contribution you will have, I'll be happy to also take them. All right. So when I was preparing for this show, I'm looking at some of our leaders that led us to independence in 1960s, down to the time of the Civil War, and everything that happened those years. Something struck me that was shocking. Most of these leaders back then were young people, in
Yes.
their late 20s, mid
Yes.
20s, and early
Yes.
30s. And but annoyingly, most of these people are still leading us till today. So I want to ask, what is the reason why a lot of young people are not participating as much as we should, and the way it was back then? Why don't we have a lot of young people participating now? Uh, uh, what is the issue that is demoralizing and demobilizing our young people to participate effectively?
In my opinion, in my opinion, I think it's just one thing. That is funding, is money. Our politics politics in Nigeria is built on foundation of money. So much money is involved. And like we said earlier, that most of our youth are unemployed. Where would our youth get such money to participate actively in politics? Where the foundation of the politics, the driving force in politics is money. You hardly find any elective office that you will not need to spend so much money to get the form. You understand? For instance, if you look at, they tell you that minimum wage is 30,000 naira. Now, if minimum wage is 30,000 naira, and most of the elective office run into millions to purchase the form, how many youths have such funds to procure forms to participate in elections? So for me, there are lots of hindrances. There are a lot of things that are responsible for youth not participating actively in politics. But the major one, I think, is funding, is money. Our politics is a politics of money. You hardly find a youth that can pull such, for instance, to contest as governor of Rivers State or governor of any state, for instance, you need, from what we hear and what we see, you need billions of naira to participate as governor. So go as an assembly member, you need money. How many of the youths can raise this money? So, one, I think that money is the issue. Then secondly is awareness, orientation.
Okay.
I think that the youth are coming up strong now. They are trying their best. They are participating actively. You can see youth here and there. There are a couple of youths in the National Assembly. I would basically say that most of the youths who for instance, Rivers Assembly, most of them they are youths. So also on that point, I also think that not that the youths are completely on zero level. I think the youths are also doing well. They are coming up strong, but more awareness is needed. More sensitization is needed. The youths need to even at this point understand that because they make up the majority of the population, the majority of the voting class, they need to understand they can also mobilize themselves. They also need to understand that they have a voice. They are the strength of the election. So when you realize also that you're the strength of election, if you don't have the money, you can, by your strength of election, also negotiate for an opportunity to participate actively in politics. So, answering your question clearly, I think that the major hindrance, the major reason youth are not participating fully in politics, one is funding, then awareness, low level of awareness and sensitization. Then the laws also have to be amended. There are parts of the laws too that does not. If you say that a youth is from 20 years, is from 18 years. Now, what does the law say about those that would probably contest as a councillor, or as a local government chairman, or as an assembly member? So there has to be a drastic also amendment in the law to also help the youth, open the doors bigger for youth to float in and participate, bearing in mind that youth make up the majority of the population.
Okay, but just before the general election in 2019, we achieved the not too young to run bill that reduced the ages of elective offices. Do you think, in your opinion, that that has solved some of these problems we are having about youth participating?
I think that it has not completely solved this, but it has given a greater leverage to youth participation in politics. You understand? Not that it has completely solved. Like I said, I said that the number one, to me, the major barrier to youth participating fully in politics is funding. Funding money that is involved in politics in this country is very huge. You know, sometimes even the political parties that should probably raise the fund to push a credible candidate still need you to purchase a form at a very high rate. I don't know if you understand me. Even the political parties that is your fund, that's the platform for the youth to participate. The political party that should probably push the funding, support you financially, before you can even get to the point where the political party will turn around to push you. The political party itself needs you to purchase a form at a very high rate. So at that point, where you cannot, as an individual, be able to purchase that form, before you get to the point where the political party will now raise the funds and contribution and all that to support you. Before you get to that point, you need to purchase this form. And once you cannot purchase this form, it simply means that you are carefully removed from participating in the election. So funding is an issue. There has to be regulation to reduce, to manage the number of money, the amount of money that is required to participate in politics, to participate in election.
But the young people that have managed to make it inside, how would you evaluate their performance? Because while we are trying to get more young people to come in, we have some number, like you said, we are not on the zero level as it is now. There are some young people there. How would you say that they have performed so far? What is your evaluation of their performance? Because if those young people are not good ambassadors, how do we believe that bringing young people into the game is going to change anything? What is your evaluation of them?
I think that clearly young people that are participating in politics in recent times, and even in the earlier times of the founding of Nigeria, I think that young people have done very well. Even though generally, since the nation have not been taken to the desired point where the citizens want, whether you like it or not, no matter what anybody does at any point now, it is difficult, to say that the country is doing well. But it is my opinion that the young people have performed well. That is not to say that they shouldn't do better. There are rooms for the young people to do much more they are doing today. But we cannot totally say that they have not done any good. Like the young, never too young to bill.
Not too young to run bill. Yes.
Not too young to run bill. It was an action of young men. It was the action of youth. So if the young men do not have the agenda, the love for the country to move forward and do well, they wouldn't have fought for that, because they fought very hard to come to the point where they were able to achieve that feat. So the young people have the love of the nation at heart. The young people have the love of the state and even our community at heart. So I think they are doing well. They are doing well so far. But that's, like I said, that's not to say there are no space in the field. There are still much more to be done. You understand? There are still much more to be done. But I think clearly at this point, young people are doing incredibly well. I think they're doing well. For me, I think they're doing well.
Okay, I tend to have a different opinion. Somehow, sort of disagree a little bit.
I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they are excellent. I'm not saying they have been perfect. But I'm saying we are still on the road. We are still on the journey. And so far, to me, they are doing well. But I think we need to do better than we are doing. For instance, when I was with leader, there was no way we would have been able to get everything perfectly right. We gave our little bit. We did considerably well. But of course, the next coming youth, we also expect them to do much better than we did, because, like they said, every father wishes that their son do much better than they did. So for our school then, executive as youth, I think that we did well, but that is not to say that we have taken the youth to where the youth desire to be. We have not been able to take the youth to where they desire to be.
Now this brings me to my next question. So, as a former youth leader of the Bonny Youth Federation, what would you say? Because you led over 1 million youths as at that time. Let me just put it 1 million. It could be more, and you were a voice. But what would you say was your legacy that you left behind for that institution that you led?
Besides what the eyes can see,
Yes.
I would say that my legacy, one of my biggest legacy was drawing the attention of the youth to our capability that
Okay.
we can actually demand for development, for empowerment, and we can get it. I think
Okay.
that my greatest legacy was rekindling the interest of the youth to participate in community development, to
Okay.
rekindle the interest of the youth to know that education is important. I forgot to tell you that during our time, 10 or 2, we were able to give scholarship to youth. We were able to give scholarship to youth. My biggest legacy, like I said, what I want to be remembered for, it's not just beyond what eyes can see, like I said, is being able, we are able to rekindle the interest of the youth to realize that self-development is important, and that
Okay.
if you demand partnership for self-development from community, when I say community, we're not just talking about the chief council or local government, we're talking even to the corporate community, that in our drive as youth to develop ourselves, what we can get what we demand, we can engage our environment and get what we want and build our mind and develop ourselves.
Okay.
Self-development, that we need to develop ourselves.
Okay. All right. So I want us to wrap up now. I mean, it's been an excellent session. But I want to ask you, a young person or young people watching you now, um, um, uh, aside going into politics, aside being involved in politics, how can young people change the narrative for Nigeria going forward? How can young people contribute? Or is it that everybody must be in politics to make a change? From your experience, and now as a community leader, how do you think as young people we can change the narrative, we can be different, and we can create a change for the society?
It's simple. It's just it's almost the same thing that I was just talked about recently. The way young people can make a change in the society, it's by unit development. What do I mean by unit development? You cannot go and develop the society or make contribution to the society when yourself you have not made any contribution to yourself. How do you make
Okay.
contribution to yourself? It's for self-development. Young people need to change their orientation. Young people need to build their mentality. Young people need to accept the new awareness, new direction. We need to build ourselves, either by acquiring education, it could mean by skill development, it could be by furthering our academic pursuits, but it all falls back to self-development. If every young man accepts that self-development is important in any measure that you see it, and we have greater percentage of youth fully developed, you find that the society in general will be developed. There is no other clearer way outside politics. There is no other clearer way to develop the society rather than developing ourselves. Is when, at every time an individual develops him or herself, you are invariably automatically developing a unit of the society. You are automatically keeping one person away from crime, away from vices. So at every point in time that a youth deems it necessary to find the fulcrum to develop him or herself, you see that that alone is a contribution to general society development. So I think that youth at every point in time now should consider themselves an entity to be developed. Because if you don't develop yourself, you don't build your mind, you don't build your skills, you don't build your education, you cannot participate in the present economic environment. You need to first of all look at yourself. Say, where am I? Where am I going to? If I need to participate, even if you want to participate in politics, you need to develop yourself. You need to be educated. You need to have a skill in one or the other. With the post-COVID-19 era, we see people almost around the world is like what we see now is like the medical science and the ICT sector is the booming sector of the global village. So young people need to also sit down and realize that we are in changing times. This post-COVID-19 time has also created a lot of opportunity and also has also closed a lot of opportunity. So we need to sit down as a young man and look at where the society, where the globe is going to, and key into it by way of developing yourself. If you don't develop yourself, you'll be left behind. You'll be sure to be left behind. Here you find people that are your friends or partners today. If you don't develop yourself and work with them and move at the same pace with them, by tomorrow you find that you've been totally left behind and you think you've been abandoned. You are not abandoned. You refuse to develop yourself. And some people will say developing yourself is...
Yeah, finish your thought. Finish your development is... Continue, finish your thought.
Sometimes some people say that development is expensive. What we need sometimes too is information. There are also opportunities and privileges here and there. Our youth should get closer to information. Information is also key. If you don't have information, you will not have a direction. You will not know where to go to. Informations are also key. And informations are available. They are on social media. You can Google it. In every direction that you think of developing yourself towards. If you go simply to even Google, you can find an opportunity. You can find a network. You can find an agency that provides one opportunity or another. See, I want to use this opportunity to tell young people, there are lots of agencies, there are lots of NGOs, there are lots of networks that also give opportunities for people to grow. It might not be totally excellent, but they are available. So information is also key. Sometimes, majority of our youth, what they lack is not the will to develop themselves. What they actually lack is information. So they should also try as much as possible to get information, to reach out to information. It is very important.
Okay. All right. So before I let you go, I want to talk about social media. Social media and politics is one topic I've always been passionate about, and people downplay the relevance of social media, especially today, and when it has to do with our advocacy in itself. Social media has been one powerful tool. I know that since 1960 till now, we have had in our generation to be able to say our mind and also contribute to national development. But my question to you is, how would you evaluate the relevance of social media today? I know, me personally, I met you first on social media before I met you in person. Many people will not know this. I've never met you before, aside just recently, and we have been talking via social media for a while. But a lot of people still downplay the relevance of social media. So I want to ask you, what will you say to these people, and especially what would you say to social media and politics in our time? Just in 2 minutes.
Social media is for me, in my opinion, is one of the greatest tools in the global village now for development. Social media has the biggest power, strength, and a mobilizing force to drive any agenda. There is no community, there is no network that can function properly, that can gain strong penetration now without social media. Social media is a huge network. It's very relevant for the development of any society now. Any society that does not see into social media will be lagging behind. In recent times, we have seen the enormous gain we have made in Bonny community through social media. Social media is very relevant. Social media is very important. Social media is the greatest asset of any society now. Social media, in fact, I think that the participation of Bonny youth in social media is one of the greatest assets that we are having in Bonny to drive development, to pull development to Bonny, to lobby development to Bonny. Anybody thinking that social media is not important, social media is not relevant, is still living in the past. It's still living in the past. You cannot. It is difficult to achieve anything meaningful now without social media. There are issues. There are a lot of landmark successes that even NGOs and a lot of individuals have been able to pull through social media. Social media is where people you may not be able to meet in the whole of your life, in your lifetime. You will meet them. It's a wonderful place. Social media is where you and I can be able to interact with Mr. President. Social media is where you and I can be able to interact with any governor of any state. Social media is where we can interact with any minister.
Oh no, I lost him. If you can hear me, please try and click the link to join back. A very important conversation we are having, and I like how it is going. So if you're just joining, this is the Hangout series, and I've been talking to Gift Hart, Alex Hart rather. He's a former BYF leader. He's a youth leader. He's a mobilizer. He's a businessman and a politician. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Sorry, I think we had a little network issue.
Yes. But I think we got your point loud and clear. I asked that question because in River State in itself, social media is seriously downplayed. People will say no before social media they go win the election, no. But in every election cycle, you see them still posting and campaigning on social media. But I love your view about it, and it's important to take it very seriously. So I have a comment or a question from Success Tammy Hart. It said this country hardly rewards hard work these days. Self-development is good, but how are we rewarded? Bring it back home. People involved in illegal oil bunkering are the current crop of mentors in our kingdom. What would you say to that?
I totally disagree with him. I don't know who are those he's referring to as mentors in kingdom that are participating in illegal bunkering. I do not know anybody like that. When you're talking about mentoring, who are these mentors that are participating those that are participating are mentors in our kingdom? I don't know who and who is seen as mentors, but for those that I would probably refer as mentor in Bonny, I don't think they're participating in illegal bunkering. I agree that mentors are the ones participating in illegal bunkering in Bonny.
But I want you to comment on this part. It says self-development is good, but how are we rewarded? That's a very important question because I hear it a lot. So maybe you can throw a line to that. Yeah.
There are two things there. One is self-development. One is rewarding. First of all, you must give yourself the best. You must develop yourself. If you say because of the rewards are slow, you will not develop yourself. Then when the reward actually comes, you will not be qualified for the reward. Now, I'm sure the reward he's talking about has to do with to be hired, to be when you develop yourself to be hired. I think that much as the reward comes slow, maybe in employment or in other sectors of life, we cannot overrule self-development. We must continue to develop ourselves. You must continue to develop yourself. You will leave this one. Even the old people that are retired. When a man is retired, does not mean he's tired. You must continue to develop yourself. There are people that are retired, but have turned their energy into private businesses. There are people that are retired from public sector. Today, they are participating actively in the private sector. They are doing businesses. Some are into even public speaking and motivation. There are some motivational speakers. So the issue of self-development, there is no alternative to self-development. You must continue to develop yourself at every cost that you can afford. You must continue to develop. And at any level you get to, you think of the next level. But you must continue to develop yourself at any cost. For reward.
For reward, yes. 30 seconds.
On reward, it's slow. I would say it's slow, but it comes gradually. It continues to come. As far as in the context of Bonny, as far as Bonny continues to exist, Bonny, I believe that Bonny people will continue to demand and continue to demand, and the reward will be coming. So I don't think that at any time Mr. Tammy should not really discourage himself to believe that reward will not come. As far as there is life, there is hope. We must continue to participate in the activities of life. We must continue to participate in the economic development of ourselves and our society. And the currency to participate is self-development. The currency to participate in economy, in the society, in community, in social network, in social development, in social empowerment, whatever you say, the currency to participate, the credential is self-development. You can't abandon yourself. For the reward, it will come. We'll continue waiting the pressure, and the reward will continue becoming.
Okay. I really appreciate you adding your voice to that, and it means a lot. Someone has made a very special request to just come in briefly to make his contribution. Permit me to just bring him on. His Honorable Judge Ajay Baningo. So let me just bring him briefly to drop his contributions and before he goes off. Honorable Ajay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
All right. So I saw your comments, and this is a very special request because I appreciate you a lot. So just 1 minute, your contribution for my guest before we continue.
First of all, let me say a big thank you, at least for granting my request.
Can you move back a bit? We can't see your face.
Are you seeing me now?
Okay. There's a light behind you that is just blocking us. But okay, go on.
So should I up the light?
It's okay. Just go on.
Okay. And to appreciate you for your effort of this enlightenment program you're doing and campaign in our kingdom. When I bottled in over here, my wonderful brother and youth leader, former youth leader of Bonny Youth Federation, I think it was at the point when he was answering your question about Youth Federation. I think I didn't get that point. That's when I wanted to come in. But all the same, if I may take from one or two contributions he has made as per leadership, mentorship, sex for work, and all the rest of the things that is happening in our kingdom today, it's heartbroken. It's disappointing. I must be sincere. First, I don't see any reason if, for God's sake, a freeborn son, daughter of Bonny Kingdom, your fellow Bonny son or daughter will begin to ask you for sex before you get a job. If you ask my opinion, the problem we have in Bonny is putting square pegs in round holes. What do I mean by that? John Maxwell said something. He said leadership is not a destination, it's a continuous process. What does he mean by that? If you are a leader, leaders are born, they are not made, according to Bill Clinton. If you're a leader and you have opportunity to serve, my dear brothers, you must have the guts and the effrontery to confront challenges. If you confront challenges, in every challenge, there's a solution. And you must create the solution and turn it to what? An opportunity. What do I mean by that? If there is limited job opportunity in Bonny, the persons occupying that space or that position that is asking our sisters.
Honorable, are you there?
They'll be given, oh, who is this now? Before they will be given opportunity to work in any place. What
Honorable, sorry, can you,
are their dispositions
Honorable, hold
in
on,
the
let me
society, in the
cut
kingdom? You want to ask me a question,
Honorable,
please go
hold on,
ahead.
Yeah, I think we need to put off the light behind you now. I think we need to put off the light.
I can't hear you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
You are muted. Hello?
Oh, la, la.
Okay. Mr. Gift, maybe he will try and join again. And I'm so sorry. He is someone I respect so much. So he wanted to give his comment. I just thought I should brought him. So I think he's having network issues. Maybe he's coming back again. Just allow him just a few minutes to. Honorable, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, sir.
Okay, I think the light behind you, we need to put it off.
Okay, please let me do that.
It is flashing on our screen. Okay,
But
perfect.
can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you.
It's better.
Yes,
I think it's much better.
You wanted to ask a question?
No, go on. It was a question of the light. Go on.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, to cut a long story short, we must be creative at every point in time you occupy any position. And we must have a self-will, a self-decision that you are coming to serve the people. You are not coming to serve yourself. That is my contribution on that. And anybody,
Okay. His network again.
I think it's network.
Should be able to. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. We can hear you. Go on.
Can you hear me, Oga?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, sir. Go on.
La la, network. Is it
okay? I think his network is for trade, but I think you also understand the point he is trying to make. He is trying to buttress on your point on jobs and opportunity for our people, which I think is very critical. He's back on. Honorable, welcome back. 1 minute so that I can let my guests go. Let me just allow you conclude your thoughts. 1 minute.
On that note, every girl, everybody indigenous that is asked for search for work should be bold enough to mention name, just like my brother has said. He should be bold. She should be bold enough.
Okay. I think we got this point loud and clear. So let us continue. So before I let you go, yes, I really appreciate that both of you have buttressed on that point on jobs, and I want to let everybody know, viewers that are watching, I'll be very happy to take on my show group of girls or women who want to speak out and lend their voice on this issue for sex for jobs. I'm happy to bring anybody on my show who wants to share their experience, name whoever they have on this. But away from that, Mr. Gift, before I let you go, you've said a lot and you've spoken to a lot.
Yes,
I really love the part on the self-development because it's something I do for my own self personally. It is something that I've worked for me severally, and I always recommend it to my friends, to my fellow young people. who need it, because it is how you get a seat at the table, whether we like it or not.
Yeah,
If you don't
yeah,
develop yourself, it means you will not have anything to offer, and nobody's going to
yeah.
offer you a seat at the table. So I think it's a very important point.
Because,
Success, Tammy Hart. Thank you for that. You want to say something?
no, I wanted to say that without self-development, you cannot participate in the economic space. It will be
Yeah.
difficult for you to get, even if you get a reward, you will not get a a standard reward for yourself. If you are not, if you don't develop yourself, you'll be left behind. If you don't develop yourself, you cannot participate actively in the economic space, in the social, even in the social space, the political space. You'll be totally left behind. So we must find every opportunity. The opportunities are there. They might not be huge. Opportunities are
Yeah.
there to develop
Yes.
ourselves. Yes.
Yeah. So just everybody would like to know your comments on the current ongoing BYF elections in Bonny. Just to use the next 4 minutes, your comments. What do you think are the issues that the youths that are coming on board should focus more on now? What are your views on the form for leader that is costing about 100,000 naira? What are your comments and your views on that? And if you can take us through what were the guidelines for eligibility during your time? We don't know if that has changed, but there are so many concerns on what we currently have by the caretaker committee. So these three things, I just want you to give your brief comments on them before I finally let you go for today.
Your first question was what you should concentrate on.
Yes.
I will not. I'm not changing that. I think that what you should continue to consider is self-development. When they come in, everybody should consider self-development, supporting the youth in one way or the other by any means necessary to develop themselves. If we achieve that, we will see less of cultism. We will see less of single parenting. So the
Okay.
youth will must consider self-development. It's only self-development that can rescue us from that. Now, concerning present election that's about to go on, fortunately or unfortunately, I have seen the guideline. It's been sent to me on my WhatsApp, but I've not been able to read through. So if you're talking about 100,000 naira for youth leader, I think that it's for those that are concerned to approach the electoral committee and the caretaker to sit down with them and engage them. I'm sure that if they engage them, telling that in this present circumstance, considering the economic downturn in things in recent times, that this amount is a little too high. I think it's a very simple thing that should be had. Sometimes when issues come up, it's the
How much
inability
did you
for
pay
people
for your
to.
form? How much did you pay your own time? How much did you pay for yourself for your form?
Frankly, I don't remember. Frankly, I don't remember because the constitution does not have any figure clearly written there that people should pay for. I don't think there is no figure there. There is no amount to be paid. So, but I don't remember clearly how much I paid. But like I said earlier, sometimes when there are issues, it's the inability for us to engage that causes it to degenerate into problems. Those that are concerned, the concerned people, should find a way to approach the LFO. The LFOs are our brothers. They are people who know. Approach them, engage them, and tell them, please, can you please reduce this and reduce this? I believe at the end of that engagement or discussion, some level of amendment will be made. But sometimes when we see things from a distance, we just see it and we get angry and we start spitting fire here and there. We most times forget peaceful engagement. Those that are concerned should go and engage the present Teleco. There are those the Teleco are people who know. They are wonderful gentlemen that we know in Bononovan Place. Charles Brown, the chairman is Honorable Kubo, Brewy Wilcox. They are our brothers, they are based in Bonadia. So the youth that are participating, or those that are not even participating, that have interest in one way or the other. The interest must not be in participating in elections or contesting elections. They have a way they can approach the LFO and have a conversation, have a discussion. I believe at the end of the day, something will be done rather than just get angry and maybe putting things on posts on the social media or Facebook. They should approach Honorable Pubo, Bro Wilcox, or Charles Brown, whoever they can approach, or approach them collectively and have an engagement, a discussion. I believe something good will come out of that discussion rather than getting angry and just.
I really wish you remember how much you paid for the form. I'm also going to reach out to the caretaker chairman. He's my very good friend, so I'll reach out to him, because personally I feel the 100,000 for the position of leader is outrageous. We just talked about our money, the issue of money in our politics, how so much it is. If we are complaining for that in the mainstream politics, in leadership position for youths and our youth bodies, let also put that into consideration. Go on, please.
Just like I said, you as an individual now, whether I like it or not, you are a popular, you're a known face in Bonnet, and you are a person of interest in the development of Bonnet. If even you as an individual can approach them and have a conversation with them, and I believe at the end of that conversation, they will see reason to make amendments where needed. All I'm trying to say is we should learn to engage when there are issues most times, rather than maybe just flaring up and spitting fire here and there, and maybe making posting on social media. Sometimes when issues come up, we should engage. There is something of paramount importance that I thought you would have raised, but you didn't raise it. I must remind us that the Senate is reviewing the Constitution, and a lot of interest groups are sending in their memorandum to back up their interest. And I'm also expecting that the people of Bonny should be able to send a memorandum to the Senate in this constitutional amendment process to see what we can get. For instance, some of us think that Bonny local government is due for more local government, and we are due for another state constituency. So these are also these are matters that I also think that Bonny people or the interest groups, there are a lot of interest groups that should be able to sit down and handle this. The Bonny Gentlemen's League are there. There are a lot of interest groups that should be able to let us as Bonny people sometimes look outside the shores of Bonny. There are a lot of things that we can gain.
I'm going to tell you specifically what I've been trying to do in that regard. I'm trying to engage with the office of the senator representing Rivers West, Betty Apiafi. I'm trying to reach out to our office to either get the senator herself on my show or get someone in our office on my show to talk about.
Forgive me. Yeah. There is also another issue. You know, once in politics, sometimes why we suffer infrastructural deficit is because sometimes after we win election, we abandon. There is a path that comes after election, lobbying, project lobbying. I think that Bonny Kingdom as we are today, I don't think we have any strong community-based organization beyond the Bonny Federation that can actually, lobby, go ahead to lobby. At the end of the election, there needs to be. Hello.
Hello. Are you? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you hearing? Yeah, I can hear you. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
I was saying that one of the biggest challenges we have in Bonny is this: at the end of every political or election era, we all go back and remain where we are. As a people, as an ethnic group, as Bonny people, we need a community-based organization. We need a lobby group, a lobby front that will be speaking and making the positive noise on behalf of Bonny people to draw infrastructure, to draw projects. Sometimes political leaders, the individual political leaders or political party, might not have all the energy, him alone or her alone, to demand for this thing. But the community needs to come together to set up a front beyond politics. There needs to be a community based on that will be speaking to demand for projects, to demand for development.
I like that you brought that up, and I know that you are now a politician, or you are a politician, and you recently changed your party from the APC to the PDP. I want to believe that we will see you playing a lot of role in this regard, going forward, to help us agitate for some of these things. Is this something
you're missing the point I'm raising. This goes beyond politics. This goes beyond being a member of a political party. At the end of every electioneering election, it demands development goes beyond the political party. Every community, every tribe, every ethnic group does it. The Boni ethnic nationality needs a lobby front, needs a speaking platform.
All right.
We need a Boni development organization that will be speaking.
I got that. I want to quickly wrap up and let you go. That's why I'm trying to rush it now. So, but before I let you go, tell us what is next for you. What should we expect from you now going forward? In 1 minute, before I let you go, what should we expect for you, especially the political front? What should we expect from you?
I'm just
are you running?
Member
are you running for office in 2023?
No. I am not contesting any election. This 2023 is far from today now. But right now, I'm not contesting any election. 2023, we do not know. 2023 is far from now. But in this present political era, I'm not contesting an election. But 2023, only God knows.
All right.
Right now, no.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gift Hart. You've been very useful. Thank you for all your contributions. I'm going to let you go. You've been up here for a while, and great conversations we've been having. I will share the clip later with you, so you could also go through. I really must thank you for your time. Your voice, you are an influencer, and your voice in some of the issues we've talked about is very critical and very important. And I hope a lot of your followers and a lot of our people are watching, and they have watched and they have listened. And I really must thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. So, Honorable, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, comrade.
Yes. So sorry, the network wasn't good on your own side. So I had to quickly round off with my guest. But I'm still interested to hear some of your views and contributions you wanted to add. So let me allow you land with your thoughts. And I really must appreciate the fact that you added your voice on the issue of sex for job. It's been very worrisome what has been happening on the island lately. But at the same time, I hope I can get the BROC chairman on the show one of these days to speak to it. I've been unable to reach out to him. All my calls and texts have not come back positive. But the floor is yours, Honorable, so you can speak to some of the issues you wanted to add your voice to.
Yeah, comrade, thank you. I wanted to make this contribution when Gift was online, because there are certain salient questions I needed to ask him, but all the same, he has gone. I overheard him saying when you asked him a question about 100,000 billion outrageous for anybody to buy from to contest the leader of a Boni Youth Federation. Maybe some other offices are for 25,000 from a grapevine. That's the information I got. But the question today is Boni Youth Federation a money-making venture? Is Boni Youth Federation a construction company? What the questions I wanted to ask Gift as a former youth leader is, one, what is the meaning of Boni Youth Federation? What is the reason why Boni Youth Federation was created? Those are the questions I wanted to ask him, because for him to be a former youth leader, he should be able to have these things or these answers at his fingertips. Keep that aside. He's saying that the forms or the money, you ask him how much he bought his own form when he contested, he said he can't remember anymore. What is the responsibility of the former leaders of Boni Youth Federation if things are going wrong in that organization? What are they supposed to be doing as former leaders, as former stakeholders? I don't want to offend anybody and I don't want to sound insulted. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a pioneer member of Bonny Youth Federation, and this is not the aim and objective of Bonny Youth Federation. It's not a money-making venture. It's supposed to be a pressure group to protect the interests of Bonny youth, both in and out. But we've deviated. My contribution is this. If we want to get a credible, capable, and competent Bonny Youth Federation ESCO, comrade, we must subject these persons to scrutiny.
What kind of scrutiny?
They must come to the public to tell us what they have in stock.
Why would that be useful?
It will be useful in the sense that if you don't have anything to offer, you will not be able to stand before the Bonny Kingdom or Bonny Youth and tell the Bonny Youth that this is what you want to do, because you must have a knowledge of what you want to do to take the Bonny Youth from where they are to another level.
But Honorable, you agree that since 1999, we've had different debates in our even mainstream elections, and these debates have never influenced the decisions of electorate or the outcome of elections in Nigeria. Why would that be any different for the BYF? Even if they come to say all they want to say, how would that be useful? They won't. The youth, general youth, won't vote in the election. It's a delegate election, and how would that be useful to the outcome of the election?
I tell you something straight up. If I want to run an election, I must be prepared for the office I'm running for.
Correct.
Or the office I want to occupy.
Correct.
Therefore, I must have my focus. I must have my aim. I must have my objective. And I must have a time frame. The programs I want to do, how I want to achieve it. How I want to achieve it. Just like Gift has said, during this time, this is what you ask me a question. What can you remember that is your landmark or the impact that you made? He made mention of it. Now, the problem we have with the electorate, they are not after the competent and capable capacity candidates in the system. They are after what they will get immediately. That is what Fayose calls stomach infrastructure. So what do we need to do? The electorate, like you said, in the secular world, outside Bonny, people come to say whatever they want to say as per manifesto and their presentation. But whenever you see, I know you are smart enough, you are too intelligent. Once you carry out your due diligence on anybody who is coming to present anything, you will know if he's presenting a written script or he's presenting something that he has passion about. This thing has to do with leadership. It has to do with yourself. I keep telling people, if you say you want to be a leader, there's a difference between a leader and a ruler. And I've heard you discuss with Gift about mentorship. Mentorship is not a dictatorship. If you are my mentor, comrade, and we're in a discussion table, I cannot make contributions. I cannot say, sir, this one you're saying, please, sir, I don't think it's right. Why don't you think we'll do it this way? Why don't you think we'll do it this way? And you're not willing and ready to listen to me. It means you are not a mentor. You are a ruler.
But Honorable, allow me to butt in here. Some of these things you're talking about, we don't see examples from even our main politicians and mainstream politics, even in Bonny and in Rivers State as a whole. But there's so many expectations on the youth, and that is worrisome for me. Because we don't have leaders that are leading by example or showing these examples. I know in Bonny, I don't know if there's a mentor, there's an active mentorship going on to ensure that our young people are groomed in a certain way, especially for leadership. But the BYF election is here, and we have a lot of people that have many things to say to people that want to come into office. So I don't know how do we expect this to work?
Now, comrade, you know how we will make it work? We have to start by ourselves. We are the problem. Reason being that Comrade Jumbo is going to contest for House of Assembly. Ajay is supporting Comrade. Jumbo. Therefore, Gift, because Ajay is supporting Comrade Jumbo, Gift want to come and join the queue without even asking this man you are going to support for this election. What does he have to offer to us? Can you please leave Ajay, who has a relationship with this man, and let him come and talk to us directly? So the problem we have is what? Ourselves, that we need to change the orientation of money politics in Bonny and River State at large. E.g., for example, look at what happened in Edo. Take Edo. Another thing that is bothering us in Bonny is godfatherism. That is what is stopping us in that. I don't want to talk about River State. Bonny is enough for me. That is my focus. That's my interest. Is godfatherism. Now, if you are preaching that godfatherism is not the order of the day, have you been able to leave a level playing ground for some persons to go and test their popularity? I'm from Bonny, you are from Bonny, and they bring me and you to the.
Are you in support or against godfatherism?
I am against 100% against godfatherism. I can never be in support of that. I will never.
But do you agree that every politician, even in Bonny, is a product of one godfather or the other, including yourself?
It depends on what you mean by godfatherism, sir. But if it's a total godfatherism that I will be in a circle, that I can't make my contribution, my voice cannot be heard in a circle, that is not a leader. It's a ruler. I'm a product of godfatherism, but not the godfatherism that will oppress my voice, not allowing my voice to be heard. I will not be part of it. Everybody, it depends on, like I said, it depends on what you mean by godfatherism. There are godfathers who say, okay, this person is capable. Give them a level playing ground to go and play. The godfatherism I'm talking about is sitting down somewhere, using a biro or a pencil to begin to write somebody's name that you know deep down in you, because of yourself, cannot represent, defend, protect. Because Gift said something, I like to go back to him. There are 3 stages in politics, Mr. Comrade.
Okay.
During election, after election, governance is the most tedious time of politics. During governance is the most tedious times. If a godfather brings you to office, is the godfather going to tell you how to run your office, comrade? Is he going to tell you how to run your office?
He can seek his advice, but he won't run the office.
So, is that not enough reason for you to look for competent and capable hand to surround you? Because my grandmother used to tell me one parable. If you are going from village to Bonny, a boat will take you what? As a passenger boat. When it gets to Bonny, it drops you at the jetty. Wherever direction you want to go at any point in time, it's none of the business of the driver that brought you to Bonny. That is the essence of godfatherism that I am talking about. But the idea of choosing for the people, allow the people's will to speak.
Okay,
I keep telling people.
Let me bring you back to the BYF.
Okay.
Do you think the election is running now free and fair to make sure they have the best candidate?
The answer is capital no.
Why?
Why? Because from the guideline I saw and I read, I've never had in my life before, since the inception of Bonny Youth Federation, that the houses would send nominees for committees to choose out of the nominees. It doesn't happen anywhere. Bonny Youth Federation is a constituted body. What do I mean by that? It has a constitution, a document that is governing and binding them. A caretaker committee is to hold brief within a period of time to conduct an election. For the executive to come into office does not mean, comrade, does not mean that you set aside the document governing that body. If you say you are setting aside the constitution of Bonny Youth Federation to conduct election, anything you are doing now is illegal. Anybody that goes to court will have a judgment. There are clauses in the Youth Federation that I've read that gives room to delegates to come from the various houses. Why don't you allow that to run through? You do your screening, do your due diligence, and allow a manifesto night. Everybody should come and say, see, the only godfather that I know that we've had in Bonny that is not myopic, that is not self, is late Reggie Wilkos. Even if he wants you to be the leader of Bonny Youth Federation or to be the chairman of Oluka, do you know what he will do? He will call everybody. He will lobby everybody, call everybody. I want Comrade Jumbo to be the leader of Bonny Youth Federation. You do like this, you do like this. That is what is called a leader who has what? A focus, who knows where he's going to. When once he gets into office, he will never come to tell you how to run your office. So my own is, you can't set aside a document, a written document, legal, binding on a body or an organization or an institution aside and say you want to conduct election.
Okay, organization. You yes, said you were a pioneer member of the BYF.
Yes.
Can you recall for us the eligibility by constitution of anybody that wants to run for office?
The eligibility?
Yes, as in the criteria that makes you eligible to run for office. Can you remember?
I can't remember. When we started, we started from Allison Junction. When Honorable Adoe Wilkos was alive, that's where we started. When we started was like bringing people individual from the different houses. When there was, I think there was an issue in Bonny, we came together to discuss that. Adoe Wilkos, former vice chairman, was the person who called that, just like Gift is calling, that they are making presentations in the Senate that we don't have people that will come together, you understand, to do a presentation or even to send a memo to there. The reason is that we're not speaking in one voice. We're divided amongst ourselves, especially the youth of the kingdom. We're divided amongst ourselves until we come back to the drawing board to forget about my selfish interest and forget about your own interest to say, what do we want to achieve? What is the template? What is the plan? Let me come back to your question. I can't vividly remember the eligibility as at that time, but I remember when Louis Baningo and Dadi Dapa, they came to office, there was its same nomination from its same delegates sent from the different houses. I think the criteria then was it a school start or something? I can't remember. I know I don't have it offhand anymore. It's a long time, but sending nominees, I don't know that. Educational qualification is there. You must be a son and daughter of Bonny Kingdom, and you must have.
Were they profiled by the DSS as at that time?
No. I can't remember that. The profiling of the DSS, I don't know whether it's coming from the angle of the government banning the youth bodies from having any election within this period. I don't know whether that's where it's coming from. There's no problem of there's no quarrel about DSS profiling the contestants. I'm in support of that, but not the delegate. I'm in support of that. Let the DSS profile the aspirants. I think that, yes, that's what it's supposed to be called. The aspirants that are supposed to run the election. The DSS should be able to profile them, know their background. Does not mean that the DSS will have the powers to disqualify anybody.
Okay. Honorable, I want to ask you further now. Do you have an interest in this BYF election personally?
I don't have any interest. Normally, what I do, like as I speak to you, comrade, a lot of people have been calling me. I said, listen, I don't want to be part of it. Even if I have an interest for that, I'm supporting you, comrade. I must ask you to go and do the proper thing.
Okay.
The only thing I don't impose anybody on anybody. If I have an interest in a thing, I will come to you to discuss with you, try to pacify you. If it's working, okay. If it's not working, I will leave it to your turn, oh Israel. It's not a do or die thing. If it's not working today, tomorrow what? It might work tomorrow. Okay. The politics we are playing in Bonny, comrade, is it must be me. If it's not me, let another person don't come. It must be me. If it's not me, it must be comrade that Ajay is bringing, or it must be comrade that what Gift is bringing. But no. There are some time that you give and take. Allow this thing to go. Tomorrow it might be your turn. So to answer your question, 100%, I don't have an interest. Even if I have an interest, The person must go through the process.
Okay. So before I let you go in the next 2 minutes, I just want you to answer, what do you think are the major issues before the BYF as they go into this election, and what should Bonny youths look out for?
Now, the issues before the BYF is the predecessors have not been able to spell out. I'm very happy to hear the question you asked Gift, and he's talking about his achievement. But like he said to you, I don't know if I'm wrong, please correct me, that is not obvious. He cannot speak it. He cannot say. I don't know whether that's what he said to you.
No, he said beyond what the eyes can see.
Can see, yeah. Yes, so he means people cannot see his achievement, but he has done something that he didn't allow people to know, that will make people to talk. So they'll begin to say, "Oh, when Gift was there, this is what he did. This is what he has done. This is what he has done." Now, the problem before the BYF is who is going to occupy the office.
How is that a problem? That's why they're going to election.
It's a problem because we need to know your antecedent. What have you done in the kingdom? What has been your contribution at the various level where you have served? What has been your contribution?
All right, but I think your phone is going down. I don't know if you can hold it up well so we can see you.
Okay, are you seeing me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Now, what has been your antecedents?
Okay.
In the previous positions you've held, to be able to allow the youth of Bonny to give you this opportunity at a higher level. This is my own idea of politics. You should be able to, comrade, yeah, he's been doing a program trying to sensitize people, trying to make people understand, this is what it's supposed to be. This one is right, this one is wrong. Okay, because of this, what is his credibility and integrity in the society? What is his level of education? What is his exposure? Who is he interfacing with? Who is he interacting with? Social media, like you asked Gift, is ruling the world today. It has its advantage, it has its disadvantage, but you should be able to take the advantage and do what? And move forward. So the problem before them is to make a better living, a better name for Bonny youth. But before, you can't give what you don't have, comrade. If I must be sincere to you, you can't give what you don't have. You must have what you want to give. So that is why we need people of competence. Putting a spare peg in a square hole, not putting a round peg in a round hole. Not because you want to be youth leader. Some persons all begin to run up and down to make sure it must become bread. What does this man that you are running around has in stock to offer to Bonny youth? Because we need somebody that can take Bonny youth from where because they're on the quiet side. The only thing they know is anybody who gets into the office, you go and look for development levy. What are they using the development levy for? My father said if you can't manage 1,000, you can't manage 1 million. What are they using? What are the youthful program that you have for the youth of Bonny? How do you intend to train them? How do you intend to get the IOCs and the communities around to acquire knowledge for a self-reliance or self-independence? How do you intend to achieve that? These are the things anybody that wants to come and be the leader of Bonny Youth Federation should come to tell us. We have a hall in Bonny. If there's no hall, we can go to Ikuba. Everybody has the right to ask questions because we must move from where we are to at least, even if it's 1 or 2 steps ahead. I don't hold any grudge. I don't owe anything against anybody who is willing to contest the election to be the leader. No, but you should be able to tell us how are we going to get out of this Baningo Creek to be able to get to Borokili Shiragono.
Okay, so you mentioned antecedents of whoever is coming. You mentioned competence, and you mentioned there's a third thing you mentioned.
Integrity and credibility.
You can't give integrity and credibility. Okay, but I want to ask you, how do we mention competence? Because competence is becoming a bogus word that everybody wants to use just for comment. I'm saying this because I'm picking it from the mainstream politics. So how will Bonny young people know who is competent to lead them? But before you answer, please, if you're watching this video, before we round off, kindly help me share the video to the various groups. I have Honorable Judge Ajay Baningo on the show today. So he's giving some comments on the BYF upcoming election. I'm going to bring him back on a later time, but let me hear his comment on this. So how do you measure competence, Honorable?
It's simple. It's as simple as, like I said, you can't give what you don't have. Now, what I mean by competence, what you're doing today, if you've not been able to sit at home to develop yourself to the level of coming to the public, to ask the reasonable and salient questions that you need to ask your interviewers, and they give you the response, whether the response they are giving to you is positive or negative, whether it's right or wrong, but you know what you want to deduce from the questions you are asking your interviewers or the persons you are interviewing. Competence means you developing yourself to the level of knowing that this thing is not right, I need to do it right. And where we are today, where let me take a comparison from 1 to 10. Let me borrow my brother's word, Gift. 1 to 10. Where stage 1, what am I supposed to do to move us from stage 1 to stage 2? What is the next thing I'm supposed to do to move us from stage 2 to stage 3? That is what is called competence. If you don't have it, you can't give it. Like I come back to you. Being a graduate does not mean that you are exposed, that you are intelligent. I don't know if I'm wrong. Please correct me.
You are in line, sir. You're in line. Go on. Hello? Hello, Honorable. Okay. I think he's having some network. All right. If you're just joining us, we've been talking a whole lot. It's been about youth and youth and youth. From the national level downwards, we've been talking about youth. It's been a very interesting conversation. I like the fact that we are hitting on the current youth election coming up in Bonny.
Are you there, comrade?
That is very important for me to also. Hello, Honorable, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Okay. If you can hear me, just join again. Let me just take you off so you can join again so that we can conclude the conversation. Wow, I have to go off pretty soon. Because I have another in the next one hour coming up again, which is very important. Okay, welcome back, Honorable. Just try to round up on your thoughts because we have to end the show in less than 5 minutes. Yes.
You have to this one. I think maybe we'll arrange for a proper program.
We definitely will. I saw I saw how you were bonding on the comment section. I said I have to
because,
bring you.
because I wanted to add my voice on this federation, and he was a former youth leader. I wanted to ask him. These are the questions I wanted to throw to him for him to tell us and educate us more. If these persons are leaving this thing on the floor of allowing the caretaker to call people to talk to them, it won't work. Everybody must bring, every past youth leader of Bonny must bring this wealth of experience, because this is the point of, it's either this election will mar you Bonny Youth Federation or to make you Bonny Youth Federation. So they will need to bring they need to come to the table to bring their wealth of experience.
Okay. So just to put it in context, like you said, we'll come back for a better session. But you were trying to give what should be the guideline for measuring competence. So I want you to finish your thought on that before I let you go. We'll come back for another session.
Now, what I mean by you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah,
I should be competent. I should be competent outside education. Outside education, like I said, you go to school. School must pass through you, and you must pass through school. And how do you get this competence? You need to develop yourself. How do you develop yourself? Reading, interacting, interfacing. Oh, this person is my model. I need to know what he's doing to get to this level. What has he been doing? I just watched a small video about Singapore, how Singapore was grown to the level. What was the speaker saying? He said you can't bring mediocrity, hypocrites, and persons who doesn't know what to do to occupy public office. And it's not the government that will do everything for you. You must contribute to Bonny Kingdom. It's not what Bonny Kingdom will give you. So competence, in my simple definition, is developing yourself to the level that you are equals or some other person who is in from this man is competent of handling this position, just like what you're doing. If you're not competent of doing this interview, do you think people will be coming to want to attend to your interview when you invite anybody? Are you there, comrade?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Go on. I'm with you.
I'm asking a question. I say,
Okay.
if you're not competent with this your interviews, because the questions you are asking are questions that has to do with a change of direction and development, do you think if you invite anybody, they will come and attend your interview?
I doubt.
And if what you're doing today was not equally comfortable enough for me to see that I want to add my voice, because I hear the direction you're going, you are asking the questions because of the competence you have for a change of direction, a change of position. What is the focus? If we live here, where are we going to? That is the competence. You must. And another thing is self-confidence. Comrade, if you are not confident enough about yourself, even if you are competent, you will not be able to offer what you think you have in you to give to the public. I come back to my normal language. You can't give what you don't have.
Honorable, I think that is a good place to round up. I will give you a call later and we'll plan for a better session. I think I should pull you in on other conversations which I have planned for the month of October.
Okay.
I would love to have you on, and by God grace, I hope you have time for us to hear your views on some critical issues we must address. But I am taking up this issue of the BYF, and by God's grace, I will reach out to everybody involved to come share their views, even from the caretaker committee and also the contestants. I would love to have them. Let's see how we can drill them a little to know what they have to offer the Bonny youth. And I've also said on the issue for sex for jobs, any female or any woman who is ready to step forward to share her experience, to tell her story, I'm willing and happy to have her on my show to share her story. I think it's high time we start pointing fingers and naming names, and so that the world can hear us loud and clear. Honorable, you are doing very well. Thank you so much. We'll have you back in due time.
Comrade, let me please throw in an advice.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, in that our kingdom, none of the girl will be ready to come forward to tell you, except you want to do an independent survey, an independent investigation on your own. Maybe like if here is for instance, is Selena Baningo. Let me use my sister's name before they say I'm calling somebody one name. You go to Selena. This is what I heard that happened. Can independently without a third party. I can tell you some of them are communicating with a lot of the friends that you know and I know, and they're telling them their experiences. But if you call them tomorrow to come and say it, I beg go, I no talk anything like that. No one trouble. Make they no come kill me or make a call to people this, that. And I wonder when we'll get out of this situation. Because what I believe in life, if you cannot stand by what you say, please don't do what? Don't say it. It's not necessary.
Honorable, thank you so much. I'll get to the bottom of it, and I hope many people will be happy to speak, but I'll do my findings as you have said. Thank you so much again, Honorable. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. God bless you.
Yes, sir. Wow, interesting conversation. I tried to have a special time for the BYF conversation, but it keeps coming in, and we'll be having it. This video will be available immediately after the show. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. And the video will be available immediately on my YouTube channel, just in case you want to watch it over again. I'll be sharing some clips online to push the conversation. But most importantly, my goal is to ensure that we put the right person as a leader to lead the youth of Bonny within this 1 month, and to ensure that we have the best candidate or candidates to lead us. I will also be talking about some state issues and national issues for the whole of October, and I hope you join me. If you're watching, don't forget, click the button just below your screen to follow my page and turn on notification to be the first person to hear whenever we go live on some of these conversations. My name is Wisdom. This is the Hangout series, and this is why we are here, to inform you, to educate you, and to make you learn on issues you have, struggle to know over time. And this month of October, I have many, many, many big speakers lined up to speak to you and share their thoughts and opinions. Hang out with me in the next 1 hour. We'll talk again on the issue of Nigeria at 60 and the journey so far. And this time, we're looking straight on national issues and Niger Delta as a whole. Hang out with me in the next 1 hour. I'll see you soon. Have a lovely evening.